ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां व्यासशंकरमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। So namaste and welcome to all of you for this Jiva Yatra class. In the previous class we looked at how a person by doing karma upasanam, one attains vishuddha hridayaha, means one attains purity of the heart or purity of the mind. So karma is a sadhanam, is a means. So karma, when it says actions, so any action which you do, whether it is kayikam, whether it is physical, vachikam by oral, which is chanting, or parayanam, or anything, or japam do, or manasam, which is mental. So the three types of karmas can perform. It can be physically performed by doing rituals. It can be performed by doing chanting, by japam, by parayanam, by satsangaha, bhajan, kirtans. All these are all vachikam. Even reading notes or reading Bhagavad Gita, all of them, or anything which you do is vachikam. Then manasam is something which is mentally done. So usually manasam is very difficult because unless you know the subject matter very well, or unless you are aware about that particular japam which has been given to you by your guru or by somebody whom you are worshipping or you're praying. So for that person, it is possible. Otherwise, first the process is by doing karmas. Then you do japam, etc. is done. Then manasa japam is done. So japam can be done in two ways. Physically, you can also roll a mala and then you can do it. Where you count and then you have a counter, people press a button, they have a counter, everything. So there are lots of tools available. So, but manasam is purely mental. So all these karmas, karma upasanataha, karma upasanato vishuddha hridayo. So for the purification of the mind, or for the person who has attained a level of understanding, and these are required for tattva jnanam. So tattvartha siddhaye. So tattva artham means tattvam means the truth or the sense, tattvam, and artham means the meaning of what it is. Siddhayaha, in the one who is achieved, or one to achieve this, you need karma upasanam. That means you need to have meditation, you need to do karmas, thereby one will be able to get mental purity. This is everybody starts like this. Nobody becomes a jnani overnight. All the people who are wise people who are here before here, they have all been doing karma in the past. Maybe their karma would have been done in the previous janma, and they have come here to complete the remaining karmas which are required. So upasanam is required. Then we also saw swa acharyam. That means one has to approach a good teacher or a good guru. So swa acharyam. So in the last class, I explained to you the guru lakshanam, how to approach a guru and what are the expectation of the student towards the guru. Then paricharyaha means service to the guru. So paricharya means service to the guru. It can be in any form. It can be giving something or helping something, or just studying shastram is also a big help. In today's environment, the guru doesn't ask anything. I mean, a good guru doesn't ask anything. He says, if you all become jnanis, if you are able to understand the truth, and if you progress well, then it is more than enough. So it is also paricharya. Shastra vidhinam, so according to the shastram, right? So then we talked about Shutva Samchayaha Samchayanuttaye cha Mananam. So for the removal of doubts, one has to listen. Shravanam, Shutva. Then Mananam means the clarification of the doubts. So Mananam involves repeatedly going through what has been learned. It is like, like a sugar cane. When you want a sugar cane juice, you have to you first pass one sugar cane first. The juice comes out a little bit. Then again the sugar will be again bent. And again it is pushed. More juice comes out. Again it is bent twice. So the person keeps pushing it until there is nothing left in the sugar cane. All the juices come out. So this is called banana. By repeatedly churning the learning again and again mentally, a person becomes more steady. Stamne, right? Saw that. Nididhyasanam is prescribed for the student who has achieved Shravanam and Mananam. In Nididhyasanam, there cannot be doubts. Nididhyasanam should not be performed by a student for attaining moksha. The moksha should have already been attained, or the moksham should have been already understood in Shravanam and Mananam. In Nididhyasanam, you cannot go and find, a topic called moksham. Oh, what is moksham? So for that it says abhyasya kramashaha. So one has to study systematically. Right? So abhyasya kramashaha. Samadhi nilayaha prapnotu shantim dhruvam. So he has given all the requirements or method how one should approach. So he has talked about karma, he has talked about upasanam, he has talked about acharyaha, guru, he talked about the service to the guru, he talked about the requirement to study as per the shastram method or the methodology prescribed. Then Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, Abhyasya Kramashaha means what? In a particular order you have to study. Only when you do all of them together, then only you will get Samadhi Nilayam. Samadhi Nilayam means like you will attain peace and Shantim Dhruva. So this is what we saw in the last class. Just wanted to repeat it. Then here, this number 8 and number 9 gives the Falastuti or the benefit of a person or sadhaka doing this particular study. So naturally, anybody who wants to study Shastram or something, they'll say, what am I getting into this? What would I get out of it? So he says here, the person who studies this will have these benefits. So let's look at what he says here. Brahmagnopi savasana mano nashaha. Brahmagnopi savasana mano nashaha. Vidyaya kramat. So Brahmagyaha api saha. So Brahmagyaha api. So Brahmagyanam, when you say Brahma means the knowledge of the self or knowledge of the Atma, knowledge of the consciousness, conscious principle of the Sad Vastu, the truth. So api, in this way, a person who has attained Vasanakshaya Mano. So Vasana means what? All the desires. So Vasana, when you say there are some unfulfilled desires. So one may have mastered most of them, but there will be still something left. So for that, you have to kshayaha, means you have to remove those. How do you remove it? Is by finally, in the final stages of your journey, each person would have realized that this is all not that much bothering for me. If I get it, it's okay. If I don't get it, I'm not really worried about it. I mean, you don't long for it, you don't feel bad for it, you don't feel affected by it. So this is called natural death or natural decline in the vasana. Right? So as long as you got vasana, means there are some unfulfilled desires. So maybe I should go once. Maybe I should do this or this once. Then the moksha will not be fully understood. It will still not work properly for you. That's what it says here. Vasana kshayo means all the desires, all the unfulfilled desires should also be removed or should be destroyed. Destroyed means what? You cannot destroy it, you can just resolve it in jnanam. Likewise, manonashaha. See, manonasha means you are not saying destroying the mind. What it says here, nashaha, when you say here, it means resolving the mind. That means the mind has been now trained. Like in yesterday's class, I told you in Tirukkural also that the mind is a very funny thing. It can be a good servant to you. It can be a good servant if you use the mind properly. That means it will do exactly what you want to do. But if the mind is let to rule, then it is a very bad ruler. That means it is like a Rakshasa, like Asuri Sampat and Daivi Sampat. In the Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 16, which we will see for some students who are attending the class, there it gives the view of how one has to. So there are two types of qualities: Asuri Sampat and Daivi Sampat. So Asuri means what? All the Rakshasa gunas. So Rakshasa guna means what? All sorts of, Kamam, Krodham, Lobham, Moham, Madam, Matsaryam, indifference, all of them, they are all enemies hidden inside us. And it can be for various reasons. See, anger may be for different reason, Krodham for different reason. But all of them ultimately, says here, has to be removed or to be resolved. So, Mano Nashaha, when you say here, it talks about resolving all the impurities in the mind. So, Vasana Kshayaha Mano Nashaha. Then Kramat Vidhyaya. That means what? Krama, see, Kramam means order. So step by step we should do. Overnight you must not try to achieve, overnight you must not try to achieve everything. So you cannot take a statement saying that, okay, next 5 years I'm giving, in 5 years time I'm going to do all of them. No, don't give it a time frame. Just work on it day to day, take your own time. There is no really hurry. One must not pressure, oneself to saying that I only have so much time to live and I have to complete everything before I go. No. You just be consistent, be steady. See, steady is better than, rushed approach. So systematically study, regularly study, be part of satsanga, then that will slowly turn the page systematically. That's what it says here, Vidhyaya. Vidya means what? Study. Kramat means in order, in a sequential order. So you'll have to first work on doing karma, then upasanam, then doing karma and upasanam over a period of time will help you bring some sort of focus in life. Because every karma requires discipline. See, if you want to do ritual at home, see, if you want to do puja at home also, you need to plan. You need to invite people. You need to have a time. So many things are required, and you need to present, preparation of food, all of them. So it requires some discipline, some preparation. So this is, if you do it regularly, all sort of things, then it brings you some amount of discipline. So karma, upasanam, by doing this, you will be able to remove vasana kshaya. So by mental purity, you will come across slowly, all the desires will one by one go. You will not, at the same time, studying Shastra, not just doing karma. See, if you just keep doing karma itself, then you will not know anything at all. But along with doing karma, upasanam, pursuit of Brahmagyan, pursuit of Atma. So Brahmagya, a piece of vasana kshaya. That's what it says here. What? Only the person who is working towards Brahmagyanam, only that person can be able to remove vasana kshaya and manonashaha. And that too by kramat vidyaya, by systematic study, not random study. So you cannot pick any study topic and then start studying and then understand that, then you leave half of it, then you go to some other book and study something, go to another teacher and learn something from that teacher, or go to YouTube channel and write some notes and then try to put all together. It won't work like that. It's just you have to be systematic in studies, systematic. So very important. Then, so brahmagyopi sa vasanakshayo manonashaha vidyaya kramat. Then swatmaram aparo nisham. Swatmaram aparo nisham sukadhano. See, swa atmara paraha means what? Swatmaramam means swa atmaramaha. See, Ramaha itself indicates what? Joy. Right? Rama. So Rama itself means joy. That means happiness. And Swa Atma means one's own Atma. So one's own Atma is of the nature of Ramaha. So one's own Atma, the consciousness, is of nature of joy. And Paraha. So Paraha means that which is superior. So what it says here is a person who has attained Brahmagyanam, who has attained some level of maturity, some level of understanding of what Shastra means, what is the truth of one's own self, by Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, by Karma Upasanam, by Acharya Upasanam, by Shrutva, by Shravanam, we saw before, Karma Upasanato, Vishuddha Hridayo, Swa Acharyam Paricharya, Shastra Vidinam, Shrutva, Samshayam Anuttayaha, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, Abhyasya Kramashaha, all of them. Then, along with that, Vasanakshayaha Manonashaha. When the person does all these things, or working towards all of them, he will finally arrive at the truth of being alone by himself. He does not need another person to make him happy. So normally what we do, we always seek happiness in other people. That means, supposing if you are alone at home, imagine. For a Brahmagyani, this is like laddu. He will say, oh my God, I got this sudden freedom. Nobody is there. No household chores to do. No pickup and drops. I'm just alone with myself 3 days. So I can make notes. I can write any amount of things required. So it's called Atma Rama Paraha. Means Atma Ramaha. So the one who is of the nature of enjoying just by being himself. People do this. Right into us, why don't you switch off the light? Means the one who is of the nature of within himself and by himself. So he does not need another person to make him happy or to make him amusing or make him more happiness. So he doesn't seek happiness in other things being around him. So it's called Atma Ramaha. Right. Then Anisham means always. See, Anishaha, see the word Anisham. So Atma Rama Paro Anisham. So Anisham means always. See, it is not like, oh, I've got 3 days holiday now. I am actually Atma, I am actually by myself. Then what? Wife comes. Then somebody else comes. All Atma Rama goes out of the window. All problems come again. Same old problems come again. Same old anger comes again. Same old things come again. You are no longer happy anymore. It is not called Atma Rama Paraha. This is actually Anisham means always. Whether people are there, whether people are not there, whether you are alone or in the company of people, the person knows to be by himself. So very important quality. Like I can guarantee 100% that you will notice a change. Your own people will tell you that your own wife, your own husband, children, all the relatives will tell you very clearly that you are not the same person whom I met 1 year ago. Probably they will also come and tell you that we should not have got married also. It's also possible. Because when the time comes at that level, they will say, I think we are going apart. But if you have your wife and husband also studying Shastram, then there's no problem. But if one person is studying Shastram, another person has got no interest at all, then it can be a problematic thing because it's taking it one direction completely. But it is okay because it happens, because change is happening there and we are evolving. The change is happening in the mind. The approach is changing. So he says here what? Anisham Atmarama Paraha. What he gets, Sukha Dhanam. So Sukham means happiness and Dhanam means wealth. The person is always wealthy in terms of Sukham. So Sukha Dhanam. So Brahmagya api means after the person who has attained Brahmagyanam, Brahmagya api, Vasana Kshayaha, after removing all the Vasanas, etc., that is the desires which are there, then Mano Nashaha means what? By controlling the mind, by resolving the Ahankara. So Ahankara itself is very important. Ahankara cannot be dropped. Ahankara has to be understood and it has to be resolved. So Mano Nashaha. Studying systematically Vidyaya Kramat. A person comes to the stage of Swa Atmarama Paraha, Anisham. He comes to the stage. After coming to the stage, what does he get? He gets Sukha Dhanam. He starts to now revel in Anandaha, which was not there before. So previously he or she was in having happiness in small things, buying things and doing things. But now this person is finding new happiness, or the happiness is found now in just permanent, Sukha Dhanam. Thereby, what does he become? Muktaha. He becomes free. So he becomes free. Because when you are not dependent on anybody for happiness, you are Muktaha. When you are depending on somebody for happiness or for anything else, you are not Muktaha. You are Bandhaha. So he says Muktaha. Then, so Jivan Muktaha. So there are two things here. Jivan Muktihi and Videha Mukti, Karma Muktihi. Two things he talks about here. See, Jivan Mukta is a person who, while living in the Janma, right now, he is free. Because the knowledge of freedom of what is Ananda has been realized by the person while living the Janma. He does not have to die. You know what I'm saying? One does not have to leave the physical body to attain mukti. He says, right now I'm free. I mean, from tomorrow itself, from right now, even the kshanam, when I'm talking to you, you can be free, you can be Jivan Muktaha when you understood your own Swarupa. And it is Anisham, so Atma Rama Paraha. It has to be like this. It cannot be that in this class I'm having, this moksham feeling. After the class is over, I again go back to the same old philosophy. No, that is not called, that is fleeting knowledge. So fleeting knowledge will be there initially, but that will be replaced with permanent knowledge after some time. So he says here, when the person achieves this, he becomes Muktaha. So Jivan Muktaha means the person who is free in this Janma right now without having to die. For such a person, what happens? There is no Prarabdha karma, there is no Sanchita karma, there is no Agami karma. I think I explained to you in the beginner's class. Hope you remember. So why does this Jivan Mukta doesn't have Prarabdha karma? Is a question. See, we all talk about Prarabdha karma, right? We all say, oh, because of Prarabdham, I am having to lead this life, I am going through all these difficulties, pains and pressures. But the Shastram says that you are Jivan Mukta. So because you are Jivan Mukta, you do not have any more Prarabdhas. Why? Because you have declared yourself to be not the body maintenance complex. You have declared yourself, taken ownership that this body maintenance complex belongs to the Prakriti, this belongs to the Maya Shakti. And I am beyond Maya Shakti. I am the Parabrahman, I am the Brahman. So when you have this vision that I am Brahman, and I'm actually beyond death, I was never born, then where is the question of having need a physical body? You need a physical body only for doing karma. Correct. If you declare that I don't need a physical body anymore, because the action which I'm doing are because of the body being there. Its nature is to do. See, eyes are there, mean it will see. It's Netra Dharma. See, Netra Dharma doesn't do anything different. It will see. Hear, if you got ear, it will hear. If you got hunger, you will eat. These are all natural things are there. What are we trying to do? Are we trying to do something different by seeing? No. We are not making effort to see. When you open the eyes, it sees. So these are all pre-programmed, these are already ordained by the Bhagavan, and it is actually operating in the particular manner. Right? But the power behind it is the mind also, which is jadaha. You've seen that. The mind also is inert by nature because the mind also doesn't have independent existence outside of consciousness. We've seen that. So thereby you resolve the mind, you resolve the body, mind, and ahankara, everything resolved. Then what is left? You are left only with consciousness, Atma. And you are what is saying here. So Atma Rama Paraha Anishaha. So thereby you are Jivan Mukta. So if you become Jivan Mukta, then any karma you do now from tomorrow, let us assume for case that after this class you become Brahmagyan, you become Mukta. So any karma which you do from tomorrow or after this class, the punyam and papam is not applicable to you because you are claiming that I am not the body maintenance complex, I am Brahman. And Brahman is Akarta. It doesn't have any doership, it doesn't have any enjoyership, it doesn't have any limbs, achakshuhu, agotram, avarnam, apanipadam, right? So all of them are there. It is given. Right? So you cannot agrahyam. So all these things are given to the Upanishads. So you are that which has got no limbs, no attributes, and you are ekam, or one. So such a case, Prarabdha karma also is not required because Prarabdha will say that what will I give you? When you say that you don't want a physical body, that there is no point in I coming back again to you. So Prarabdha karma will leave the person. Correct? Sanchitam is the bank balance which is there in the previous karmas. Sanchitam will say, oh, so you already declared yourself a Jivan Mukta. This person doesn't want a physical body anymore. So there is no point in clamoring, I have to fight for physical body. He says, I will leave this jnani alone. So this sanchita karma, which is there, the previous bank balance accumulated for many janmas, it now finds that it has got no use for it. So it gives exemption to the jnani, to the wise person, saying that, oh, I free you from this. So you're declared you don't want, fine, I'll leave you. What about agami karma? Agami means what? Right now you're doing activities. Even that also is not required, because agami karma is also the karma which you're doing now has got punyam and papam connected to that. You're already saying that I'm not the body mentions complex. So agami karma also is not there. Prarabdha karma is there till such time the physical body is there. Because the physical body is come to existence, there is a prarabdha karma. So when prarabdha karma is finished, then there is no requirement for the jnani to be taking rebirth. So he becomes Jivan Mukta. So that's called Jivan Mukta here. So Muktaha sa Jivatra api. So Jivatraha means what? The one who is alive. So Jivan Mukta. Jivatraha api. Then Prarabdhe Kshapite. So Prarabdhe Kshapite cha means when the Prarabdha karma is over or destroyed. See, Kshapitaha means destruction or removal. Nashaha. Then Deha Vilaye. So when Deha Vilaye means what? When the physical body is about to go. So every physical body will go one day. So when the physical body is about to go, at that time the prarabdha karma of the wise person is resolved, is destroyed. For everybody, not only for him. Even for the ajnani also, prarabdha karma is over, means you cannot stay here for even 1 nanosecond. Even if you wish also, you cannot. So because the reason for the physical body coming is prarabdha karma. So he says when the prarabdha karma is over, deha vilaye, muktim videha angataha. So muktihi means he attains mukti. So videha mukti means what? There is no more physical body for the person. So mukti, videha mukti. See, there are two things talked about. Jiva muktihi, videha muktihi. See that? In the second line, muktaha sa jivatrapi. See that? So that is jiva mukti, jivan muktihi. That means the person is already free while living in this physical body. He is jivan muktihi. Then he also attains videha muktihi because he will not be reborn again. Why? Because his prarabdham is already over. Sanchita karma will not come and touch him or her, because the person has declared that I don't need a physical body. I am the Atma, the Brahman. Thereby, I do not need a physical body. Therefore, no karma is applicable for me. So Sanchitam also goes. Agami also is resolved, because Agami karma is no longer there when Prarabdha is gone. So all the three karmas, Sanchitam, Prarabdham, Agami karma. Three karmas are resolved for the jnani. So thereby it becomes Deha Vilaye Muktim Videha Angataha. So Videha means what? When the person leaves the physical body, he does not come back again. He doesn't take another body in another form. See, there's a very lot of contradiction. See, some people say it is because of Ajnanam. There's a new rebirth. The same person has come again in another form. So, actually speaking, jnanis, when they go away, see, if you tell him a Swamiji has passed away, because he attained Brahma Aikyam, he was a wise person, he became a jnani, he's already come back. I can only remember him by using his teachings, using his, what he has taught us, to remember him through the teachings. But it is improper for me to worship him by offering, milk, by creating a deity for him, by creating a temple for him, and creating separate, procedure for him, and then, offering him, milk, etc. every day. It is a different type of worship, because you are bringing the person now alive in some form or the other. Whereas these people are not supposed to be coming back. Today there are a lot of, people are there who do this kind of things. See, it is not right or wrong, it is not hard to say. But Shastram says that a person who is a Brahmagyani doesn't come back in any form, whether it is in Swapnam or in life form or in Murti form. He doesn't come back. Because you should not be bringing him back again. What? That's the reason why he did all the sadhana of the last year. Sannyasi, he became sannyasi for what? For not to come back again. And you are bringing him back again. For your own benefit, for your own understanding. That's not what is supposed to be done. That's what it says here, Videha Muktihi. Very important. So Mukti Videha Sangataha Angataha. See, Prarabdha karma is like this. An ordinary person, it's like an example I'll give you, is a seed. A seed, when you plant it raw, it will germinate, correct? The same seed, if you roast it in extreme temperature, say if you have a heat, and then you roast the seed, you try to plant it, the roasted seed won't germinate, because the heat has actually removed all the germinating capacity. You know what I'm saying? The heat has removed all the germinating capacity, whereas a person who has not actually been exposed to Shastra, two things. A seed which is not germinated, or which is can germinate, is supposed to be Agyan, because it can happen, it can again grow. Whereas a Jnani has actually roasted all the karmas, all the upasanam, all his prarabdha karmas, etc. in the fire of knowledge. So when all of them is actually burned in fire, then there is no question of the seed being germinating again. So prarabdha karma is like this. So he's already done everything what we can, and he has roasted it. So there's no question of again taking birth again. So I wanted to give the example to you. Prarabdhe kshapite. So prarabdhe kshapite cha deha vilaye muktim videha angataha. Then Satchit Saukyamaye. Satchit Saukyamaye means what? In the Sat and the Chit, that is in the truth of one's own self. Saukyam means happily nestled. Saukyamaye is very, very settled nicely in this philosophy called Satchit Anandaha, or so Atma Rama Paraha. So a person is well settled, entrenched in this particular state of mind. See, Upadhi Rahite, next. So he Upadhi Rahite. Upadhi means what? Manifesting medium. So Upadhi means to say is manifesting medium. So the body is also manifesting medium. So Upadhi Sahitam means say with the manifesting medium. Upadhi Rahitam means say it means without the manifesting medium. Upadhi Rahite Majjatu Apare Pare. So Majjatva Pare Pare, you have to break it into Majjatu Apare Pare. So the last line you must break it. Sat Chit Saukyam Maye. Upadhi Rahite. Majjatu apare pare. See, Majjatu means what? Mat means one's own self. The person who is entrenched in the knowledge of one's own self. See, Nididhyasanam, when it happens to you, you do not need time and place. You do not need a particular environment. You can be anytime be a muktaha. Correct. So that is what knowledge does to you, because it is beyond time, space, and object knowledge. So you need not be located in a particular place. You can just be free wherever you are, whenever you want, and it doesn't still you enjoy. So this is called Majjutuhu. Then apare pare means what? Apare means what? That which is limitless. So apare means that which is limitless. And pare means what? Higher. So that which is limitless, higher knowledge, which is acquired by the person, he is reveling in Saukyam. So the this particular verse gives the Falastuti. So if you read like this, Brahmagyapi api saha, means the person who has attained Brahmagyanam. How he has attained Brahmagyanam? By removing Vasana Kshayaha. He has removed all the Vasana, or the mastered the Vasanas, you can say. Removed means you can't remove. He has mastered the Vasanas. He is in control of the Vasanas. The Shama, Dama, Uparama, etc. Mano Nashaha means he has resolved all his anxieties, anger, etc. in the mind itself. Vidyaya Kramat, systematically he has followed one by one. He has not jumped anything, jumped any queue. He has addressed one problem, he has removed. Okay, I have got this problem. So let me work on this problem. So you give time, you fix that problem. Then you take the next one. So you keep working on it systematically for a lengthy period of time. Don't pressurize yourself. That's what he's saying. Do not put time frame, because when you put time frame, you get under pressure. So let the mind flow, let the mind resolve. Slowly, you will resolve it. Once you get it, so Atma Rama Paraha Anisham, so he becomes happy by himself always. He becomes Sukha Dhanam. He attains this Dhanam, which is wealth, which is of nature of Sukham. He becomes Muktaha. He becomes free. And what Mukta becomes? He becomes Jiva Muktaha. He becomes free in the Janma itself without leaving the physical body. So Jivan Muktaha. Then Prarabdhe Kshapitecha. So when the Prarabdha is over, because the person is living now, Jivan Mukta is a claiming, I'm a Jivan Mukta. See, Swamiji once was having a class. He taught for 2 years in the class, and he said, sometimes they ask students to read topics. They say, read chapter 15, something like this. And there was a topic about Jivan Mukta. Sorry, Guna Atitaha, something. So, immediately stopped. Hey, wait. You read Guna Atitaha. So he asked one of the students, are you Guna Atitaha? The student was thinking, should I answer yes or no? Because if I answer yes, so Swamiji may ask, how do you prove yourself? If I answer no, then the teacher will think that I don't know anything. So he was not sure to answer anything. If for study is complete, what you will say, I am Guna Atitaha. You do not have to think twice. You do not have to think who is going to say thing bad about you. What it means is clarity of thoughts. Once you have knowledge, you do not just walk away from it, or do not have any doubts about it. So if you have a doubt that you could be Guna Atitaha, you would again study. Or maybe I think I'm not right. Maybe I've got some doubts. So that's what it says here, Prarabdhe Shapitecha. So Mukta Jivanapi means this person becomes Jivan Mukta in this Janma itself. Then when the physical body dies, because the person is living this life. So whether jnani or ajnani, whoever it is, the body is still there. It will continue to be existing till the body collapses one day. So prarabdhe shapite cha deha vilaye. So when the body leaves this universe, this physical body, at that time mukti videha angataha. So this person does not come back again, or there is no question of rebirth, or one must not bring this person again in any form. So we must say Brahma Aikyam, or he become one with Brahma. In Brahman, he become Brahman. For such a person, Satchit Saukyamaye Upadirahitam Majjut Apare Pare. So this person always revels in Anandam. He is free from Upadi, and he is always of the highest nature, limitless nature. Apare Pare. So limitless, highest, without Upadi, Satchit Saukyam, Videha Mukti, Jivan Muktihi, Sukadhanam, Swa Atmara Paro, Anisham, Vasanokshaya Manunashaha. So all these things happen to the person. See, so many things he is given. It means when the knowledge is ripe, all these things happen to the person. Is it clear, this verse? Shankar Mama, is it clear to you?
Sir, oru vaati kuda brief ah ella sollugo sir.
Okay. See, the first word is called Brahmagya Api. Means what? The person Brahmagyanam Api. See, Brahmagyanam means what? The truth of about one's own self. It is not the truth of the Laukika Visheha. The truth of the self, or the Sadhyam, Moksham. Right? And how do you achieve this? You achieve this by Vasanakshayam. See, Vasana means not the smell. Vasanas means they are unfulfilled desires. See, every person has got some unfulfilled desire. Every person has got something. Somebody will say, I couldn't build an ashram. Somebody will say, I didn't have a big house. Someone say, I would have lived like this. Maybe I should have done this. Maybe I have like this. So all these are unfulfilled desires. Everybody has got it. But there has to come to a stage when all these desires should also be left out. So what? Okay. It doesn't matter to me anymore. Yes, I had to desire before. Now it doesn't bother me anymore. I no longer want to follow the desires. And this comes to you by vairagyam, which comes to you but naturally by dispassion, by understanding the truth of what this can give you. Even if
does it mean that conquering the desires, or you have to destroy the desires?
No. You cannot destroy the desires. You have to conquer the desire. That means you have to overcome the desire. See, desire will sometimes see the nature of. See, desire cannot be removed. See, desire cannot be destroyed. Desire can only be understood and resolved in jnana. That means you have to conquer the desire, saying that the desire no longer is actually valid for me. I am no longer interested in pursuing desire anymore. See, this is by vairagyam also. See, physical body also will not support you. Age also will not support you. Correct? You may have a desire to ride a kite. Correct? Because in younger days you are the best. You could do that. Now, do you want to do that? You don't want to, because you are not interested. Something else is coming up now. After 2-3 years, something else will come. So one by one, all desires will go. So understanding this nature of the desire itself is not permanent. They are always impermanent. In that wake of knowledge, you vasana kshayaha, you remove or destroy those or remove this vasana slowly one by one. Conquering them, mastering them is the right word. Destruction is not the right word. Mastering them or conquering them by vivekaha. Same way, manonashaha. See, manonashaha means what? Not destruction of the mind. Mind cannot be destroyed because mind is a.
But in this thing, fulfilled or unfulfilled, the question will not arise,
Correct, because see, once you have actually come to a level of understanding, fulfillment also is understood. Unfulfillment also is understood, because there is nothing, no more to be achieved anymore. it doesn't matter to you to fulfill more desires. You're not also interested in unfulfilled desires also. What I'm saying. So you are in a state of steadiness. So Mano Nashaha also the same thing. See, Mano Nashaha means what? Resolving the ahankara, resolving the understanding of the mind itself being of the nature of inert. And mind is the one which is responsible for all these kind of vasanas. So managing the mind, controlling the mind, and channeling the mind in the right direction is called Mano Nashaha. See, Nasham is saying destruction is not the right word. It means resolving the mind, not dissolving the mind. See, when you go to some meditation, they'll say, dissolve the mind. No, you can never dissolve the mind. How can you dissolve the mind? Then what will you do? If the mind, see, jnanam occurs only in mind only. If the mind itself is not there, then what will you do? Mind is very much there, but mind is actually now utilized or channeled in the right direction. Right? That's what it says, Mano Nashaha. So far, you okay, Shankar Mama?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now I am getting it.
Okay, so Vidyaya Kramat means what? In the order you should do. Like you must do karma, upasanam, then by doing this Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, in the process of doing that, you will attain some Brahmagyanam. In the Brahmagyanam, Vasana Kshayam will happen. Mano, controlling the mind will happen. Right? Once it happens, then what you become? So Atma Rama Paraha. So you become the Rama. I mean, you are the Rama of your own kingdom, your own happiness. And so Atma means you are the person who is actually reveling in one's own.
Rama means it's not Lord Rama, it's happiness.
No, Rama itself means happiness, not Lord Rama. Rama, you say, is Saguna Brahma. Rama itself means what is happiness. Right. See, Sri Rama Rama Ramiti, Rame Rame Manorame. You know that, right? Sri Rama Rama Ramiti, Rame Rame Manorame means just by chanting the mantra Rama, so Rame Rame Manorame means the person is actually reveling in Ananda of just by being Rama. So it's called Atma Rama Paraha.
Yes.
Anisham means not fleeting Atma happiness. So you cannot claim that for next 2 years I'll be Atma Rama. Then after 2 years something happens, you disappear, and you leave all the studies, Nidhyasana is gone, everything is forgotten. Then you again become what? Anatma. Again you become the same old person. How can you be Atma again? Right. So you have to study again to understand what it is. So it's called Anisham, means always. When you do that, you will attain Sukha Dhanam. So Dhanam means wealth, and Sukha means is happiness you get. So wealth is happiness. Right? So happiness is wealth. Sorry. Happiness is wealth. And you become Muktaha also. You become free. And what Mukta? Ordinary Mukta. You become Jivan Muktaha. Means while living the physical body, right now you are living this life. You declare that I am not a physical body. I am an Atma. I do not have anything of this sort of karma, upasanam, vasana, manaha. I do not have anything like this. All of them are resolved. I am a very, very satisfied person. Sukha Dhanam, Jivan Mukta. Then what happens? After this is all when living the person. The person now lives for 80 years because the body is there. Then it says, Prarabdhe Shapite Cha. So when the Prarabdha is over for the person and Deha Vilaye, when the body is it's left in this universe, such a person becomes Videha Mukti Angataha. So Videha Mukti means what? He becomes free and is never born again. So Videha means what? That no requirement for the physical body to come again. So he becomes Jivan Mukta while living. After the death, he becomes Videha Mukti. Got it?
Yes, sir.
And last line he gives that such a person should be Satchit Saukyamaye Upadhi Rahite Majjut apare pare. So he is always happy. He is always limitless anandaha. He is always higher than anybody else. That's what it says here. So this is the benefit of studying Shastra. This is the benefit of, he says, studying this particular text. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So prarabdha karma is the number of physical years that we are alive in this world.
Correct. See, right now, Radhaji, all of us, even Jnani has got prarabdha karma.
Prarabdha karma.
You remember, see, Swamiji, I met him many years ago. And I met him when he was, when my son actually had Upanayana, we went there. Because my son wanted to have Upanayana only in Swamiji's ashram. He didn't want to have Upanayana in a temple or having 100 people, 1,000 people. He has said that I want only in Swamiji's ashram. So we went there. At that time, his health was so bad that a person who was walking alone, used to be agile, used to talk, used to joke. And such a person was actually now, two people will lift him. And one has to put him against the wall. Someone will stretch his leg. Someone will put, hearing aid. Someone will put a speaker under him, and he will look like this. Talk for 10 minutes, half an hour, there'll be no speech, nothing will be there. People will be waiting there. Whole 100 people in the Gurukulam will be waiting there to talk. But then I'll say, I know that, I cannot talk, but my mind is working. While I was not talking to you, my mind was working. Because he said, it is my prarabdha. I have to undergo this. Whether I like it or not, the body is something which is going to go through this change. Even though I may be having knowledge, etc., but still it is part of the process. So, prarabdha karma, when you say, this means arabdha, means arambha, that is already started. So the moment the physical body is born, that means you have prarabdha. You cannot do anything about it. You have to just extinguish it or just have to bear it and then
Right.
There is something called, prabala prarabdha. This prabala means what? Very, very strong prarabdha. You cannot do anything about it. Prayer cannot do anything about it. Japam cannot do anything about it. Going to temple cannot do anything about it. Whatever try to do, nothing will work. You will have to just suffer. Or you will have to, whatever it is there, you will have to just endure it. Correct? So it is.
So any physical ailment has to be endured.
Physical ailment, mental ailment, all. Emotional ailment also. See, physical ailment, emotional ailment, and all of them. See, some people are emotionally also disturbed. Correct? Physically, they'll be all right, but emotionally, they'll be very disturbed. So all of them are prarabdha only. They come in a complete package. So it is not like only physical body only comes like this. It comes with the entire package of mind, buddhi, ahankara. Correct? So whenever buddhi comes, emotional intellect comes into picture. So you cannot do anything about it, but there's something called abala prarabdha. This is mild prarabdha, something which can be warded off by doing something. But if you've got a very strong prarabdha, you cannot do anything about it. You just have to. That is where karma yoga comes into picture. See, karma yoga is taught to students. Why? Because karma yoga teaches the person to accept this as Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, Prasada Buddhi. It teaches them saying that, look, I don't have any control over this. I don't want to fight this. By fighting this, I will actually be, getting more into this. So let me accept what I can and what I cannot change. Correct? And the will to know the difference between the two. That means what? You must have the intelligence to accept what is changeable, accept what is not changeable, and to know the difference between the two. So it's a very beautiful prayer Swamiji has written. Very beautiful prayer. In fact, he says that, oh God, give me the power to know that which I can change, that which I cannot change, and to know the difference between the two. I mean, you must know what is changeable, what is unchangeable, and you should have the intellect and the buddhi to live with it and just enjoy it. This is prarabdha. That's what it says here, what prarabdha shapitecha deham. See, deham means what? The physical body is only there because of prarabdha. Prarabdham is not there, next Shanam you are gone. Finished. You will not, you don't even have to inform anybody. No WhatsApp messages, nothing. You can't even finish immediate. That is what is the uncertainty of life. So that is why becoming a Jivan Mukta is better. So we must become Jivan Mukta rather than becoming Videha Mukti. Correct. So Videha Mukti cannot occur unless you are Jivan Mukta. So first you should be Jivan Mukta, then you become Videha Mukti, then you are a free person. Is that clear, Radhaji?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Kushalji, have you got any questions? Are you able to follow? So with this, we actually wanted to complete 9th verse, but somehow this topic was interesting. I had to elaborate a little bit more. In the 9th chapter, we are just going to conclude next class. And I will probably introduce you to Hastamalakam next class. I'll introduce you. So, Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tatsat Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Namaste. Shubhratri to all of you. Tomorrow we have Sri Suktam class at 7:30 p.m. Okay, I'll send a message again, but whoever wants to attend, you can attend. Okay. Hari.
Thank you, Ji.